Yo, Shortbox Nation, this is Botter, and I'm here to tell you right now that con season starts early this year with the return of Northeast Florida's premier anime, comic book, and sci-fi event, Collective Con. That's right, Northeast Florida's largest pop culture convention returns for its 10th year on March 8th through the 10th at the Prime Osborne Center in Jacksonville, Florida. 10 years of Collective Con, they're pulling all the stops out to make sure this is a can't-miss event. And the guest list they got going, don't even get me started on the guest list. I mean, they've got A-list celebrity guests and voice actors from some of your favorite movies, anime, and video games like Elijah Wood and Sean Ashton, Ray Park, Trisha Helfer, Ross Marquand, Max Middleman, and Bo-Katan herself will be there, Katie Sackhoff. Tell me what other convention is giving you the opportunity to meet Frodo and Sam from Lord of the Rings, Darth Maul, and One Punch Man all under the same roof. Only at Collective Con. And if you're looking to get some of your favorite comics signed, or if you want to get an original sketch from some of the best comic artists in the world, well, you're in luck, because there'll be plenty of comic and creator guests there, like DC comic artist extraordinaire Clay Mann, Harvey Award-nominated illustrator John Taylor Christopher, Marvel and DC cover artist Chris Stevens, and acclaimed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn. They'll all be at Collective Con this year. And if you're looking to bring the family, or if you want to make a weekend out of it, you're in luck, because there'll be so much going on at Collective Con that weekend in the form of vendors, fan panels, video game tournaments, cosplay contests, after parties, and a bunch of fan events. You can purchase single and 3-day weekend passes now using the link in this episode's show notes, or by going to collectivecon.com to book your tickets and hotel. Buy your tickets now, and I'll see you at Collective Con, March 8th through the 10th. Now let's start the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Shortbox Podcast.
The Shortbox Podcast is recorded live from Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I've been in a Batman mood all week, and then DC Fandome happens, which I won't lie. I knew it was happening this week. I just wasn't super aware that it was happening when it happened.
Yeah, they kept talking about it, and you're like, all right, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, to be honest, I always, last year I had it playing while I did some house stuff. So I was catching the trailers in and out. This year, I guess I just ended up being too busy on Saturday, but it was kind of fun to just sit on YouTube and go and just watch everything back to back to back to back. And then the website, the link that I added in the show notes, had way more stuff that I didn't see.
Oh, yeah.
A
bunch of stuff. They just did the videos for all the bigger projects, but as a whole, it's like a whole event. It's like DC across all platforms. Comic books, movies, TVs.
I feel like comic books
figures,
is
statues.
2%.
Way down the priority lists for DC.
Yeah.
Honestly, on the DC the DC blog that I linked to, it was I think the DC Direct McFarlane Toys news was well above the comic
Oh,
news.
hell yeah. Dude, it's so funny. I follow a bunch of fake Facebook groups. Those are my favorite. I love going to Facebook groups for just niche things and just seeing people lose
That's my whole feed now.
Yo, they just lose their... It's like grown-ass men just having tantrums. It's my favorite. I'm like, this is comedy gold. So when this all dropped, the statues, people... every post I kept seeing was just... McFarlane, and I follow comic books as well. Nothing, even the comic books were like, check out these toys. I'm like, all right, cool. There's a time and place, and this is not it.
And the thing is, if I couldn't find comic news, I couldn't find everything, right? Like Ed, you posted on our Instagram the news of the Zatanna movie.
Yeah,
I couldn't find that listed on the DC Comics blog. So it was even for the DC Comics blog, there was too many announcements to put in one.
Wait, so
one
it's just announced though?
The casting. It was just basically, I didn't have no idea they were even doing it.
Yeah,
and they just basically said, I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but she's cast as Zatanna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh. Justice League Dark,
okay.
maybe?
I wonder if Paul Dini is attached to this project. They'd be crazy not to.
Anna de Armas.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely not who I had. That's definitely not who came up for me, but okay, that works.
She looks like her. I mean, what else can you ask for?
Hopefully Paul Dini's involved.
Yeah.
Oh, so these are HBO Max movies.
Yeah.
DC's crazy because I have the HBO Max app, and anytime you can go by hubs or recently added. When I go to the DC hub and put recently added, it is a fountain of things that I was just like, what? I was like, there's so good. Batman has teamed up with Scooby Doo so many times.
Yep.
Yeah, that's his homeboy.
That
at this
is
point.
the
He got him on
craziest
speed
team
dial.
up. Like, yo, they have basically worked with every Scooby
Oh,
Doo
yeah.
team has worked with every version of Batman.
I want to see a Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns
Oh, yeah.
Batman crossover with like
with Scooby Doo. Like, I
Yeah.
want that where they're basically like they start realizing like who's the mystery of the Batman, and they start like
poking around at the
poking around.
Batcave.
But at all,
But it's
Old
Batman.
man Wayne took off his mask.
That's good. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this episode. Yo, Shortbox Nation, welcome back, and to our new friends tuning in for the first time, hello and welcome to your new favorite comic podcast, The Shortbox. My name is Botter, and this is a bonus episode you're tuning into.
Ooh.
We were going to take this week off to focus on recording some content for our Patreon page. With all the announcements that came out of DC Fandome this past weekend, we didn't want to leave y'all hanging with nothing to listen to
be
this
fools not to.
week. Yeah, damn right. We got to get in on all this SEO and all this, this gold mine of topics.
God. So much.
The Shortbox crew and I decided to get on the mics for a casual convo about our favorite trailers, snippets, and announcements from the event. Helping me make this episode possible and joining me in the Shortbox studio today is the man with nerd cred over 9,000,
Whoa.
Mr. Edmund Danzart is here. in the
thank you,
studio.
guys.
Oh,
Thank
there
you.
we go.
Just sit down, please. Embarrassing yourselves. Thank you. Oh, that was an abrupt.
Oh, yeah, I gotta fade it out in post.
And
Okay, fade it out in post.
I gotta fade it out in post.
All right.
That's pretty funny. And rounding out this skeleton crew is a host you
Ooh.
normally only hear.
Spooky season.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the theme up. You normally only hear him on our bonus episodes because his hourly rate is pretty damn high.
It is definitely high.
And you got to pay if you want to hear him cussing and yelling on the mic.
Oh, I need to
Try really
renegotiate.
hard. Yeah.
But he made an exception this week. I'm talking about
Hey.
Mr. Andrew Torres. Is here with us as well.
Yay! What's up? How's it
Yeah.
going?
Oh,
All right.
Oh,
And
done.
scene.
And
And done. No more applause. All right. Before we begin, I do want to answer the question, what is DC Fandom? For those of you unfamiliar with the event, it's DC's annual virtual fan event, or what seems to be a new annual thing they got going on. I think this is, year two, maybe
It
three?
was a COVID kind of
Thank you.
related.
Yeah, year two.
Yeah.
But it gives us sneak peeks at some of the biggest DC movies, TV shows, games, and comics coming in the next year. Movies like The Batman, Black Adam, Peacemaker, as well as video games like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, and more, all had spotlights during DC Fandome, featuring trailers, behind-the-scene, featurettes, and other memorable moments with your favorite DC stars capturing never-before-seen surprises. You can actually watch the full event on the DC YouTube channel, which I've linked in our show notes, but that is not a requirement to enjoy this episode. Just a friendly suggestion. Ed, Drew, did either of you watch it live? Did anyone watch it live?
No.
I did.
So everyone.
Yes.
Oh, you did?
I did. No, yeah, I watched it live. That's when I was
Oh.
texting you. I was like, hey, you should turn it on right now.
You know what?
Nah.
Actually,
I was like, turn it on right now.
I got to
Nah.
give Drew credit for reminding me, because had you not texted me,
Yeah.
I would have hopped on Twitter and been like, "What the hell's going
know.
on?"
I was one of those things where I was like, I didn't want to wait for things. I was like, I don't want to wait for this stuff. I was like, let me just put it on in the background
For
because
sure.
YouTube had the live link, so I
Yeah.
just had that on, and then I just played it in the background while I just cleaned my house.
And they have it up too, so you can watch it whenever. They have all
Yeah, it's
3
like-
hours? Or
yeah,
3
3
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
About 3. Yeah, like I said last year, it was nice to just same thing, just have it on in the back while I did house stuff, and then when the trailers actually came on, pause, watch it, and whatnot. What were some of the reactions that you had watching the event?
Oh, I was hyped. Actually, Zachary was over before he had went to work, so he stopped by, and we were just watching a lot of the video games that they were coming out with, and we were just like hyped off of that. And then after he left, I was getting hyped on the little TV shows that I've been watching, like little announcement. And there's like shows that I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch it, and then character shows up, and I'm like, okay.
Got it. So this one not only got you hyped for the existing stuff, but also might sway you to check out some of these other shows that got in the works. That's cool. Ed, what would you say, based just on the trailers and clips alone, which movie, let's just focus on movies right now,
Oh, man.
are you anticipating the most?
I'm kind of... The Flashpoint intrigues me. The Flash trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, the Ezra Miller one?
Yeah, the Ezra Miller. I don't know what he was wearing. That outfit was kind of strange.
Oh,
With the
So,
dog collar.
yeah,
that choker looked like a
I know.
backpack clip.
It's like I thought someone like photoshopped his head on someone else's body, like deep fake style.
But here's the thing. So, like, he's like, we're on set on Flash.
I know.
Like, he must be on costume. like,
Yeah.
but I was like, all right, like, it's a fashionable choice.
It's okay, but besides that, but the whole I'm kind of looking at this, and I'm not sure if it is. It's kind of like a let's reset this bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, let's get back on the right track. And this is basically how they led into the New 52. So this is kind of like, all right, let's clean up all these messes and loose ends.
That'd be cool
and
if
then
they
we can kind of
That'd be cool if they use
ship.
this movie to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I can only
And I think the Flash trailer was because I ended up just watching.
and it's not even a trailer, too. They
Oh,
don't
no, it's
even.
not.
Here's
Thank
the-
you,
They
thank
don't,
you.
they don't
The
even
first
call
look.
it a trailer.
Yeah.
It's a
first
snippet.
look.
First look, and
Like, awfully cut. Like I don't ever know a movie that does that. Like,
and, well, actually, that was my point. Is that I ended up watching all the highlights on YouTube, like video by video, and I think the Flash was like the third or fourth one I watched. And by then, the Flash, or hearing Ezra Miller talk, it solidified that the common theme for DC fandom was this. So we don't have enough to make a trailer or sneak peek, so we'll just give you what we got. But Flash,
we've been making this Flash movie for the last 8 years, and we need to put something.
we can't show you nothing.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
basically they took like everybody's questions. They gave them something,
Yeah.
like, okay, where's
just a
Black
little.
Adam? Where's Flash? What's going on?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, here's something to shut you up.
I think Flash was the only one that didn't have a release date announced, or even like a high level release. It was just like
2023 or something.
Oh, was it?
I don't remember.
I think more than likely. Yeah, that's probably it.
I have a question. Do you think the Marvel execs and the Disney execs are watching this live, or they're waiting for the YouTube hits?
Nah, they got a team watching it live.
Yeah, they
That's
got
all
a
that
but it's not
matters.
okay.
They got interns doing
I
it.
always
for sure.
the interns. I feel like the disrespect's like, hey, listen, watch all this and then give me the good ones.
I do want to highlight that the suit that they got Ezra Miller in looks really good.
Oh,
It looks
cool.
like I like the it looks more streamlined, right? Like the yellow highlights like are really bright.
Like a Michael Turner painting.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah, he does. That's
What's
well
up,
said.
Mike? I
He
was
looks
like,
like
yo,
Michael Turner's.
Mike.
What about the
Nice.
one with the Batman suit just painted over?
Oh,
It's
Yeah.
like, we're saving some money. We're not making a new suit for this guy.
Well, I was watching it. I was watching all these trailers with Blythe, and her commentary was very funny because she had like one line for each one. But the one that got my attention for this one was she was like, "Is that Michael Keaton?" All right, well, so he's gonna steal the show. Like when this movie drops, it will just be a Michael Keaton like focused.
Oh yeah,
show.
that's it. And he'll probably show up for like 3
And
minutes.
is he going to be Thomas Wayne, right? Or is he going to be Bruce Wayne?
I guess that's still the question up in the air: is what
Since it's
version of
Flashpoint.
Batman are we getting?
I think
if they
we're
were to
getting Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, Batman?
89?
Yeah, we're definitely getting Tim Burton Batman.
Oh, I kinda
that
like
would
to
make
see him
sense.
play
Yeah,
like
would be
that.
100% because like
They already got it
the
established.
multiverse exists for everything.
That's true.
Ghostbusters, Lord
Yeah.
of the Rings.
I guess it would take more time.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think that would be easier to fit in rather than having to explain like a Thomas Wayne universe. But I don't
Out
think
of
it'd be
nowhere.
that hard to do that neither.
My hopes for this movie is we're gonna get Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton, but
Mhm.
then it's also gonna
An
be
even
like,
older guy for Thomas Wayne?
No. We're gonna no, just the fact that I think they'd
Clint
be
Eastwood.
I think they'd be fools not to like basically cash in on what we're about to talk about later. Like you have Michael Keaton at a certain age being old.
Batman
Oh.
You know
Beyond.
what I'm saying? Batman Beyond. So
That's
I
a
think
good
they'd
look.
be fools not to be like because
That's-
they're already establishing.
Look behind the curtain there
multiverse.
for the show.
You're letting them know
This is
today.
hot.
Today's a double header
Hey,
record.
man.
Header.
Listen,
That's
there's
good.
a lot of things that I'm excited to talk about.
Oh,
Batman
nice.
being one of them.
All right. Well, then, Drew, I'll go to you then. What was based on the trailer clips we got, movie wise? What are you anticipating the most?
Latina Batgirl.
What do you mean? Explain.
So they announced the Batgirl movie. They announced the 2 directors, and the girl who's going to be starring as Barbara Gordon is the girl from the Washington Heights movie? It's the musical that just came out.
Oh, okay. I saw
Um,
pictures of her.
Yeah. So they just announced her, and it was great. Like I'm excited.
Leslie Grace.
Leslie Grace. So yeah, listen, I'm all for it. I'm excited. Like they announced the Batgirl.
All about
there's-
Barbara Gordon.
That's what I'm
This-
saying. So I think they're going to lean heavily towards the Babs Tarr Batgirl.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yep.
Batgirl of Burnside.
Burnside, yeah.
Because she can hold her own.
Mhm.
She can be like, this young single, like trying to balance life.
That costume is awesome.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
costume is amazing.
The yellow Doc Martens and the snap-off cape.
I'm
That's
saying,
like,
yo,
Well, they're
it's
saying,
genius.
according to the DC site, it says Gordon will have a full cowl and red hair in the movie, and a new concept image
Yeah.
of Batgirl's suit was shared.
Yeah, so but Burnside, she wears a full cowl. I think Sean Murphy or Clay Mann changed his cowl to where she only had the
Oh, yeah.
things that are. She's had some different like
Mhm.
basically cowl, no cowl, like what are they called?
The goggles?
The goggles.
Got
Yeah.
it.
I'm anticipating that one because that one surprised me the most. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I had no idea that this was happening, and they introduced them.
Because wasn't like Josh Whedon supposed to do a Batgirl a while
Yeah.
back in the day?
Yes.
And they canceled that?
Yep.
because everyone hates him now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Most definitely. He's canceled.
That's a good pick.
In my opinion, I think they should keep it like the Babstar, the
By itself.
just because it's that by itself and kind of a lighter, more fun, colorful. Because we've had all this Snyder dark shit for too long.
Yeah.
We need a
new filter.
like Shazam, like do something like fun like that. Make it like kind of that kind of tone, like
Okay.
Shazam's his tone.
And I was agree. Babstar's Batgirl stands on its own.
Oh, yeah. It's
And
great.
it's complete. Like I don't have to hey, listen, just read this. The
Yeah.
narrative speaks for itself. She does such a good job reflecting on her own life. You don't need any type of history. You just need to know that she's a badass motherfucker. And this is her pretty new costume.
And you don't need Batman to come save the day. You
No,
know, she
yeah,
can handle
she can
her
do it herself. Yeah, and it's actually cool the way. And the panel lining is amazing.
Mhm.
I love. That'd be such a good. I don't recommend that book enough.
It's great.
I think we should stick to the Bat family, right? And might as well talk about the most obvious
Obviously,
one that
we
got
are
everyone
getting a
hyped.
Batman video game.
Hey, Court of Owls.
Well, not even a Batman video game. It's
Obviously,
Bat Friends video game. But
that's
the
right.
Batman trailer also dropped as well, and that movie
What?
is right in the horizon as well. Yes, like wait,
What are you talking about?
you mean that trailer has got like 1.2 million views at the time of this
It's a
recording?
great trailer. As much as I'm kind of selfishly, I kind of want to let's get away from Batman. Let's introduce some new people. But I get it. Batman, he's going to make you a
Hell yeah.
gajillion dollars. So, but I thought the trailer was good. Like Colin Farrell is the Penguin. He's like doing his Tony Soprano impression.
Come
Wow,
on,
what a
come on,
change!
keep going.
And like I said, it. Like I said, the trailer is great. Did its job. I'm more interested in it than I was before.
Same.
After the trailer.
Invested.
Same,
Okay.
For sure.
Can we all? I have a feeling that Jeffrey Wright is the new J.K. He's the J.K. Simmons of this year.
Oh my
Ah.
gosh.
He's voicing
And Andy Serkis is Alfred.
Oh, Alfred.
Yeah, that's a good
It's
point.
like I don't have
Well,
to wear
I'm
that
saying-
dumb suit and do motion capture anymore.
Well, I'm seeing Jeffrey Wright in a lot more things, right? So
Yeah.
he was the voice,
Westworld.
especially in the superhero world, right? Voice of the Watcher and for What If.
Oh, that's right.
He's also the voice of what did Ashley champion last week that Jeffrey Wright is also the voice of something.
I don't remember.
I forgot as well, but Jeffrey Wright is voicing that project, whatever it is. But I think it was comic book related, and now we get to see him take up the mantle of Commissioner Gordon, which J.K. Simmons also already had held down that role too. So it's just like funny to see
Oh,
Jeffrey
listen,
Wright.
I gotta give respect to Gary Oldman. I'm sorry, bro. Listen,
Oldman, man.
I'm telling you right now. But I give respect to my boy Gary Oldman because if anything, he should be up
Oh,
there
no,
with
no,
Jeffrey
look.
Wright. On
Gary Oldman is. I think he's my favorite Commissioner Gordon so far.
Okay.
I'm just saying J.K. Simmons also was Commissioner Gordon. Now Jeffrey Wright. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
okay.
I feel like Jeffrey
No, I know
Wright
what you're
to
talking
me
about. Yo,
is more
J.K.
prominent.
Simmons hits like a
Yeah, for
whole
sure.
bunch of audience. I know.
I also want to know, is it just a common trope for Batman to be in the police cell with like whoever they abduct? I'm like,
Oh.
man, this dude just gets into any police
Yo,
cell.
I can't even get into airport.
But Batman can walk in for a Q&A at any time he wants.
Yeah.
I thought you had beef with the. Police department.
Mm.
But the gunfight and lights trailer, that moment in the trailer where it's like armed folks with machine guns and the lighting kind of goes with the
It's
machine
like
gun
the
fire.
Darth
was pretty
Vader
tight.
scene, hallway scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like it's the 007 Skyfall scene where they're fighting in the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That is such a great thing to see in the trailer. That was one thing that got you hyped.
Oh, for sure.
Yo, he's super bulletproof, bro.
know.
Like, he's like, pow,
He's not
pow.
even
I'm
like-
all right.
He's
Yeah.
just walking straight
He's
ahead.
walking straight. I was like, what is that costume made out of? Like,
Well, speaking of, what do you guys think about the costume? I think we got a better look at the costume in this trailer than the first one that we got last year. What do you guys think about the full trailer?
I don't have enough
full
money to cosplay that costume. Like I look at all the Batman costumes and like, which one can I afford? I'm still at the Adam West.
Oh man.
Like, yo, I can afford this shit from the 60s, but this 2020, bro, that shit has a gun implanted on his chest. It's like the Arkham Knight.
Yes, that's what it made me feel. I was like, man, this looks a lot like the Arkham Knight video game suit.
Matt Reeves, basically they're asking, Matt Reeves, what was the idea behind the whole Batman thing? And it's just like, oh, it just came to me. And it's just like, yo, like 96 months earlier, it's just him like just running through the entire Arkham series.
100%.
He's playing the game while they're
That's definitely
interviewing
why.
him.
Here's the thing. In that series, you can get shot like 40 times and still fight. So I got to give props to my man, Rocksteady Arkham Knight, for introducing such a sexy suit.
What about your confidence for Robert Pattinson playing Batman? I mean, is it more or less after seeing this trailer?
Yo,
this is Botter. Sorry for interrupting this episode, but I'll keep it brief. I wanted to let you know about a massive sale we have going on over at the Shortbox Store on all of our merchandise and apparel. That's theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com. You can now save 20% off your entire order using the discount code YOO, Y-O-O. So if you've been waiting for the right time to finally buy that gauntlet snapback, or if you ever wanted to buy any of the shirts you see me wear on the podcast, well, now's your chance to get them for a steal. We still have a few sizes left of everything, but they won't last long, and once they're gone, they are gone. And did I mention that all of our apparel is screen printed on high quality material? None of that heat transfer or direct to garment stuff. Our shirts are some of the most comfortable ones you'll ever wear, and the hats look even better in person. So wear your support for the Shortbox Nation proudly, knowing that you're going to look damn good doing it. Get to theshortboxstore.bigcartel.com as soon as you can, and don't forget to use that discount code YOO, Y-O-O, to save 20% off your entire order. All of this information can be found in this episode's show notes if you want to get there faster. Thanks for not pressing fast forward. Now back to the show.
Amazing. Listen, like, he looked good as Batman. Anybody looks cool in a fucking black suit.
Yeah.
Like, anybody looks good in an all-black suit.
I have
I
to
look good in an all-black suit. Like, yo.
I have to see him as Bruce Wayne.
That's what it
and
is.
as
Yeah.
Batman to kind of.
And I think you also got to look at it from a lens of, like, he's playing a much younger, a more raw
I think
Bruce
it's going
Wayne.
to be kind of like a year one type of thing.
That's the vibe
because
I'm
of the
getting.
car, and then even like the way
Even
Catwoman
Selena
looks.
Kyle, yeah.
She looks like Selena Kyle from year one.
Definitely. And that's going to be the haircut that is going to be coming up this summer, next year, 2022. Only because I was like, dang, Lenny Kravitz's daughter, what's her name? Zoe Kravitz? Man, she killed it. And she has she looks really good. She looks really amazing. But like with, and then after watching Tenet, have you seen Tenet yet?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Dude,
oh man,
yeah.
you can
Good.
watch that. And I mean, Robert Pattinson, he's an
Pattinson
actor.
does so well in
he's
it.
a good actor.
Pattinson. Yeah,
He is,
he's
yeah.
definitely a great actor. I loved him in the prequel to Uncut Gems. There's a movie that those two brothers did, where it deals with Robert's character trying to get his brother out of jail.
Huh.
That is a crazy movie, but that just I'm like, yo, he's a great actor. But I mean, how hard is it to play sad boy?
Especially after being in
He's
Yeah.
a vampire.
It's just,
Exactly.
yeah, for real. It's just like, hey,
He's
listen.
a Twilight sad boy.
Okay, like what's this character? Your parents were murdered.
I'm
Okay, I
sad.
got that. And then you have a lot of money. All right, yes. Anything else? You have a butler. I think I got it. And then it's like, but he has to be
Claw
American.
is your butler?
Yeah, for real.
And
It's sort of
he looks like him. He's got the vest on and everything.
They essentially told him, instead of playing a sad vampire, you're going to play a sad man obsessed with vampires.
Yeah.
I wanted to say
Stretch
those
those wings.
I wanted to say one comment about Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. At least based on what I've seen in the trailer, is it looks like she's combining the best elements. And I know it's kind of blasphemous to say, but like, bear with me. Halle Berry's Catwoman, like the sex appeal that was kind of very abundant in that
I'm really
movie,
glad you're saying
combined
all this.
with the classiness that I thought Anne Hathaway brought in
see
her
that.
version of Catwoman. I think she's combining best of both of those and bringing like a young kind of edge to it.
I wanted
Sure.
to bring that up because I wanted to. That's the one thing I wanted to bring up. I was like, wow. As far as we have now a bunch of Catwoman as well, and I feel like she doesn't get enough discuss the fact that
She's got some great comic book runs, like some of the best comic book creators have worked on.
Chuck Dixon's done some really good stuff with her. Bruder Breaker and Darwin Cook has done some amazing writing with her.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can go from all that, but it's just like you're saying with the whole Catwoman, you're like, all right, she's going to be her own, but also at the same time, you're like, oh, I see this, I see this, and I love the fact that a lot of people are posting the year one panels. Have you been seeing a lot of the year one people posting year one panels and then comparing it to?
I mean,
Selena
that's
Kyle's?
what I thought when I saw her.
Yeah.
First thing I saw it.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting from this whole movie. And
Just because I remember us talking about, like, I think we were even, like, a while back, we were talking about that when she was cast and the ethnicity of the character. And that was like, well, in year one, they're similar, you know?
Yep.
And who cares? At this point, who cares?
Oh, for sure. At this point.
And we haven't even talked about the Riddler or the Penguin or the
No.
Batman.
Well, no. I mean, Ed brought up a good point that, which I honestly, I forgot that I forgot that Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin, but he
notoriously handsome man playing. Like, it's really,
He looks so good.
he does,
look
and the
good.
voice too. I love the voice.
and I
Man.
just thought, is this like Tony Soprano as the Penguin? This is awesome.
So
'Cause he's like a mobster in this. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool.
And that's what you want. You're like, yo, Penguin is like, he's like, I'm more than umbrellas and gadgets. Like, I'm a businessman.
Yeah,
And I'm always
they take
rocking
that
a
goofy
clean white
side
suit.
away from him. You know, the
For
monocle and the beak nose.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
they'll probably give it to him later. But I'm assuming that I'm assuming that Penguin like is a big fan of Jay-Z.
Well said. All right, so that movie comes out. So the Batman comes out March 4th, 2022. That'll be exciting. I'll go ahead and spotlight, out of all of the announcements, trailers, and whatnot, Black Adam.
Because he looks so much like him.
Yeah, right.
Only because here's the
I
thing,
wish I was
like,
that broad.
Black Adam looks so... All right,
Look,
go ahead.
No, well, I'm saying the Black Adam segment has me the most. That is the movie I'm anticipating the most out of all of these that we've seen. That one, of course, comes out July 29th of next year. But it's mainly just because of the lineup, right? Like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
That's
Like
pretty
I was
awesome.
literally just watching him on Mrs. Doubtfire on TV earlier this year. So to see him again, I was like, damn. But he looks good. It makes sense that he could like carry that very kind of stoic, mystic.
It's like a regalness. to
Yeah,
him, yeah.
well said. He's got a regalness to it. But then learning that like we're also getting Hawkman in the movie as well.
Atom Smasher.
Adam Smasher.
Yeah.
But we're also getting who else? Dr. Fate, Hawkman.
I'm glad he worked
the
out for
Wizard.
this role, though. It was,
Cyclone is also going to be in this movie. But and that actually,
Rock's muscles are going to be in
yeah,
this
Rock's
movie.
muscles. But that's
That dude
what
was
I'm
probably ripping
But that's
all
what I'm
those
saying.
Adam suits.
To see The Rock introduce that segment and speak about how excited. I mean, what he said. He had a line where he said, "I was born to play Black Adam." To see an actor that invested in a movie at that level. And here's the thing about Rock. Say what you will about his movies quality, whether you like him or not. I do firmly believe that he does give his all to a project.
Well, you can't deny like his presence and his like charisma. I mean, it's just you can't doubt that.
Not at all. And that's the energy I got. Like he is such a good spokesperson for any project, and to see him like this hype about this project, like it got to me. So that is the movie I'm most excited for. And I thought even just that little bit of a snippet that we got, which felt very Mortal Kombat-esque, seeing him pull off
like
that
the God
fatality
of War.
move.
That, and I kind of like when they were doing the drawings, I was like, this is like the God of War drawing, like the God of War cutscenes and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, just the lineup itself, I mean, you've got so much room to tell such an interesting, and I think
It's essentially the JSA. We're
Dude,
getting
yes,
we're getting the
that is-
diet JSA. I'm
for
like,
sure.
ooh. I was like, I cannot wait to see what they're going to call themselves. Is Our Man in this?
no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think Adam Smasher is the only character from the JSA in this movie.
Mhm.
But I mean, you got Dr. Fate, Hawkman,
That guy's
the
JSA
Wizard,
as well.
Cyclone.
JSA.
Oh, really? Okay, so maybe more
Yeah.
than that. Yeah. Obviously, this movie is going to be about the origin of Black Adam, where he's been, and I guess like bringing him into the DC universe. I'm trying to figure out how they're going, like how the rest of the characters fit into this puzzle.
Yeah. Like, who's he going to meet? Who's he going to fight?
Exactly.
Like, what is his struggles going to be?
And
Like,
he's got a tie-in with Shazam.
oh,
somehow.
man. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for, like, Adam Levy and The Rock to, like, just, oh, my God, they're so big.
And Noah Centineo is playing Adam Smasher. I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, out of all of them, I think Black Adam's got
Who's
my
playing a
interest the
suit?
most.
Who's playing Black Adam's suit?
what fabric is holding
Yo,
Dwayne The Rock
I'm
Johnson?
telling you, in between takes, he's like, Shazam! I'm like, oh, my God.
Wardrobe. But yeah, I mean, like, let's be real. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, even before he was given this role, or before he earned this role, people were making images and fan castings as for The Rock as Black Adam.
Yeah.
So I mean, to see him like live up to it and look just as good as all of those images we had seen prior to this,
Them
like,
smart enough to actually cast him. Like,
For
let's
sure.
listen to
It's
these
like,
people. Okay,
yes.
it's right there.
Yes.
He looks like him.
So Black Adam is what's got me the most hype. So that's what I got to say about Black Adam. I think the next thing that we wanted to definitely highlight is the Peacemaker trailer that we also got. Ed and Drew, you guys both claimed.
Do you have a high five sound out?
No, but I do have this,
Oh, my God.
which I think was all of our.
Straight up, here's the thing. Yo,
Yeah, which was
that's-
our shared
oh my
reaction to
God.
watching the trailer for Peacemaker, which is
Yeah.
coming to HBO Max.
'Cause-
Actually, before the Batman movie. It comes out
Spoiler alert, watch Suicide Squad if you haven't.
Oh my God.
for sure. What were some of your thoughts and reactions to the Peacemaker trailer?
I'm going to love him now.
Oh,
As much as I was like ready to hate him,
really?
and like,
Did you not like John Cena's Peacemaker performance?
No. I thought his performance was amazing, but when he kills our boy Rick Flag, it was very much a heartbreaking moment because like he's like, "Yo, I love peace. It's like I'll do anything to have my peace." Yeah. So it's like, all right, cool. But I'll tell you right now, this trailer, they give you a little bit like, hey, listen, he's a very complicated character, but he's gonna be lovable. And John Cena's just like, yo, same thing with The Rock, like, yo. He's just lovable as fuck.
I'm curious, and I'm sure this is the case, but I wonder if how much tutelage The Rock is giving like John Cena as he makes his like move into like these movie roles and whatnot.
First, what you do is you do an action movie, and then you do like an end of the world movie.
You get that Disney money, you jabroni.
Yeah. What else should I do? Like you should like team up with a childhood star and just do like a cleverly antic movie.
You do a buddy cop movie.
I won't even be mad if DC becomes the home of wrestlers. Movie actor,
the transition.
WWE retiree.
It's like
hey, can we talk about your future in the AEW, WWE? Like, listen, you get big enough, and then you're like DC will come calling.
Yeah, it's like a halfway house from wrestling to the entertainment industry.
Ed, what were some of the standout moments or scenes from this Peacemaker trailer?
What I really liked, and this is like such a deep cut, is Vigilante.
Oh, yes. And this is why I'm so excited that we get to hang out like every 2 to 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like, Ed, you say all the right things. It's so amazing. Thank you so much.
And it's
I digress. Go ahead.
And it's like a picture perfect comic book vigilante.
100%.
He is such a F list character.
Yeah. We'll put that in the F or W. From
and there's been about 20 different people that's been this character.
Oh yeah.
So, but just the fact that Sing Vigilante, and I'm hoping, and I'm just going by the trailer. I'm hoping they don't make him too much like Deadpool, the way the humor is.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, all right, we don't need a Deadpool in this.
No, we do not.
Hopefully that was just the trailer, and it won't be that. But just seeing that character and then the like perfect like comic book costume on screen, and Robert Patrick as his dad. T-1000,
dude,
looking rough.
I was like, yo, listen, if I had a father like that, of course I would turn into a life of military.
Oh my god, he's looking rough. But yeah, it was cool seeing him as the dad and the eagle, and just seeing like James Gunn's weird, quirky things. And it looks like with the Suicide Squad movie, it looks like we know what you do.
Yep,
do your weird thing.
Yeah,
it's like all right.
That trailer screamed to me, "Hey, if you enjoyed the Suicide Squad movie, then watch this show because we're just basically going to continue on."
That
right
tone is continuing. Yep. And
I will say, awesome. And Ed, I'm glad you brought it up as far as like, being a little hesitant about like the comedy, like the butt baby joke in this trailer. I was like, man, if this show is just filled with these type of jokes.
But that's just that character.
Exactly. Yeah.
Terrible jokes.
But I will say, watching John Cena being hugged by a CGI eagle, it's pretty adorable. I don't know. Something about a bald eagle as a mascot is so crazy, but hilarious.
It's like cooing in him.
So take a picture. Dad.
Well, also, the eagle sticking his head out of this, was it a Mustang? Or whatever that muscle car was.
Just singing like American Pie or whatever.
Nothing more American.
Yeah, the more I think about having the ability to control birds, it's not a bad power. Like, I'm just like, yo, a bird. Is
that his ability?
Yo, that is a dope ability.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
And do you know who that, in the trailer, it looked like they were fighting someone in a green getup. Did you recall who that was?
I couldn't make him out. I didn't.
Yeah,
Radioactive Man?
Radioactive Man has a red suit.
What's his
Fallout Boy?
Fallout Boy. A combination of them. Fallout Boy.
And I'm glad that this show is coming out in January, so it'll be like a nice first quarter like watch to enjoy. Then I'll go ahead and follow up that with one more movie talk, and really it's between Aquaman the Lost Kingdom and Shazam Fury the Gods. I'll go Aquaman the Lost Kingdom because not only is that one due out next year in December, but I guess it just hasn't felt like it's been 4 years. It's crazy. Been 4 years since the last movie, which I guess it shouldn't be too surprising, but I think I'm so used to the more high tempo frequency of like Marvel releases that to think that 4 years of
today
time,
it's like that's like a lifetime.
Like, exactly. Sure. But seeing once again, I will say that is the best part about DC Fandome for me is that they, it's advertised as a fan virtual event, and to see like these like Jason Momoa and your Dwayne Johnson, being this hype about these movies and selling them in such a good way. Not it's their job to promote the movie. So I mean, there's that going for it, but. I will say, like, I don't know. Jason Momoa kind of gave me the same kind of energy that The Rock gave me. Like, very excited, very invested, wants to see this movie succeed. It's not just like another paycheck for them. If it is, then I couldn't tell. But, it sounds like James Wan, the producer, is ready to take all that malignant money and fame. And
I don't know if that made a lot of money, but
well, I mean,
clout, malignant clout for sure,
to carry that energy. But the messaging that I got out of this segment was that we're going for bigger and better. We're going to do like the whole globe trotting thing. We're going to have multiple locations. Some of the preliminary art that they showed, like it looks like we're getting a whole bunch of different types of like monsters and horror type of elements to it.
Unfortunately, like in my opinion, like I think that's what kind of bogged down that first movie, was just trying to do too much. Mm-hmm. I don't want them to do that same thing. I'd rather them do 1 to 2.
They're like, look at this shit,
really awesome, because it was pretty wild, like all the visuals and
like
all the
Star
stuff
Wars,
there,
like Star Wars underwater. You're like,
yeah,
all right,
but then it was like Star Wars underwater. Then it became like Indiana Jones. Then it was like pick a lane and kind of stick with it.
I see but I feel like
where do
this
you guys
one
get rid of your garbage?
I feel like this movie is probably going to lean more into my favorite parts of the first one, more of that Indiana Jones kind of like adventure aspects. And Black Manta's costume, looks awesome. So tight. Like I'm excited to see more Black Manta.
I wonder if they're going to give him different direction. Like, what's his character going to be like? Because he is such an interesting character, but like the turn and the way time passes in the first movie is just very like, it's hard to be like, okay, I don't understand how quickly this escalated.
And I think Abdul Mateen is Yaha Abdul Mateen is such a good fit. I mean, just like visually, he's got the look down, but also like seeing him like practice some of those fight scenes, it looks like we're gonna get another like good brawl going on. And as far as like what type of character he'd probably be, I imagine like now we're gonna see Black Manta in full like revenge mode, because I mean they didn't close that story gap they didn't close that story in the last movie. Like, he's still out for revenge. And honestly, Black Manta is at his best when he's just petty as hell.
He's nice to have. What I'm saying? People tell me all the time it's nice to have goals. So.
Yeah. I guess if your goal is killing the guy that killed your father, I mean that's one hell of a goal.
Listen,
that's a once in a lifetime goal.
It's like I don't care I don't care why you do it. I just care how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, put it into effort.
I'm gonna quickly go over this, talk about this Shazam, and then we can talk about other pieces of news that piqued our interest.
Because I got one thing I want to say on the TV side.
Okay, no, for sure. As far as Shazam, which I think would be safe to say the other kind of big DC movie that got a lot of attention that people are hyped for.
That's 2023.
That's 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, Michael Jordan era.
But we're getting Lucy Liu. What is it? Helen Mirren. Marin. Sorry, as Marine. Sorry.
Aquaman talk.
Helen Mirren. Sorry, as Calypso. We get the full cast back. I get more of like a Wonder Woman feel from this, right? They're leaning more into like the mythology kind of side of things as well. Same kind of promises too, different worlds, different settings.
And we get to see the family all together, the Shazam family.
Can I be honest?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. You're like, no, lie.
Tell us a story.
I don't know if I want to see all of them. All at once. I feel like it's almost too much.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about in the sense you're like, all right, we got a superpowered family, so like, how is it that they cannot overcome this, whatever it is they're doing, because they're all there? It's like, I don't want to take focus from Billy Batson and Shazam.
Exactly. I want to see Zachary Levi get more screen time. Like, I kind of just want the focus, because I guess I want like a singular focus on one character, and I feel like having that many people.
It's called Shazam. It's not called Shazam Family. So
I don't know. Well, technically, it's Shazam and Fury of the Gods,
or they could at least be part of that final resolution, like the final.
Yeah,
it's sort of like how they did in the first one.
Yeah, because
I can't beat this guy by myself. I got Vin Diesel. I got my family.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing I would say. I do think the updates they did share, like the updated costume, looks really good. It's Lucy Liu. She can't really do no wrong, but I'd be curious how they balance two villains in this as well. It just seems like it's going to be a lot to try to balance.
Do you think they'll do another Mr. Mind cameo, like the little worm at the end of the?
I forgot about that.
Oh wow! Damn,
that was such an awesome
honestly,
credits are-
I would almost be down if they continue to let that be like a post-credit thing,
Just like a
that kinda-
teaser?
that keeps building, right?
Yeah.
That keeps building in the back until like eventually we get a whole movie with just
Oh, man.
Mr. Mind. Drew, you got anything to share as far as like reactions or thoughts on the Shazam Fury of the Gods stuff?
No, like I kind of agree with everything what you're saying. I don't want it to be too big. Like,
Yeah.
I want it to be the main focus of Billy Batson and Shazam, and then just have his family out there. But we don't know what this movie's going to happen, what's going to be about, like how it's going to happen. So, I'm definitely excited. The costume looks really, really good. The set pieces look amazing. Like, I definitely get a. Not was it what's the Peter Jackson movie? Not the Peter Jackson movie. The Lightning Thief. That whole Percy Jackson. Sorry,
Percy
I'm getting like a whole Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief vibe, as well as like like
Interesting.
the sense of like it's like adventure. We're gonna get all these pieces. Like everything looks beautiful, and I'm like, man, I've never been to a place that's so beautiful. I want to go there.
I'm glad you said it, because that's like I said, that's the vibe I got between Aquaman and Shazam, was that the set designs, they were going to go all in, right?
Yeah.
Like for Shazam, they said they'll be revisiting the Rock of Eternity, as well as I think the Library of Eternity. So I think it'll be cool to see some of like the big or more popular or more well known DC like or landscapes.
You can turn this into a whole amusement park. Like, yo, straight up. If Universal Studios were the
Land.
yeah, for real.
Yeah.
DC fans are landing. We're currently everything Universal Studios, but we're going to open up a new park. The DC universe, like it's like, oh shit, you.
And
get
there's
to-
still that kind of, where now how do we tie in Black Adam to this story?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think
because those all those two movies can definitely interconnect and
They
lend
have to.
themselves to each other.
They're wearing the same outfit, different color.
That's very true. But his comes with a hoodie. His comes with a hoodie.
if I had to guess, that's a good point. That makes all the difference too.
That's definitely a difference.
If I had to guess, wait, when is that Shazam movie? So Shazam Fury of the Gods comes out 2023.
Yep.
And then Black Adam comes out 2022. So we already had the first Shazam. We're going to get Black Adam before the second Shazam. I would imagine Black Adam is probably going to show up maybe towards the tail end. Maybe as like a setup for like,
Post-credits or something.
post credit or setup
Or
for the
he
next.
can show up in the Black Adam, or the Shazam could show up in the
That's a good
Post-credits.
point.
Yeah, and then he just basically takes out Lucy Liu. Dang.
Not Lucy. Take out Helen. All right. How about we go ahead and spot? So we pretty much covered all of the movies to note. How about we spotlight some of the other pieces of news that might have piqued your interest personally? Ed, I'll start with you. Anything from the TV universe, video game universe, or comics that you want to highlight?
just really quick with one thing is that Doom Patrol got renewed, which is really cool. Such an odd, weird show. It's
That
cool.
show gets the most love at Reddit.
Oh yeah.
Reddit absolutely loves that show.
And then
Todd McFarlane fan page also loves that show because there's always one guy that's like, I can't wait for Todd McFarlane to make this to an action figure, and then everybody's like, me too. And I'm just sitting there like,
Todd's sitting on that
scroll.
mountain of money.
Oh
He's
my
in that
God.
Scrooge McDuck
Dude,
vault.
come on.
Some of the-
Todd is so funny.
Imagine Tom McFarlane swimming in a pool, a vault of action figures
Oh.
instead. All right, continue.
And then there's the it looks, I'm not sure what I think about it, but it looks that Catwoman animation, the Catwoman solo movie.
Oh, the
It
one
almost looks like Boondocks.
yeah,
kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
it's like that one.
It's got like an anime kind of
yeah,
flair
it's got
to
the
it.
anime
It's
look.
so good that they're lending themselves to that type of like, hey,
Sure.
they could go easily and be like, we're gonna do it standard animation, but the fact that they're lending themselves to
Yeah.
that, it is great.
That's,
Yeah, looks
I
good.
mean, it's definitely worth looking into using that style because it's probably one of the most popular styles out there as far as animation. So makes sense, and it does. I don't know if it's the same people that does it, but I kind of think of Boondocks. Boondocks has that kind of anime-ish kind of look to it.
Yep.
So, but that looks kind of having Catwoman having her own kind of solo, movie rather than being like a sidekick or just a part of the story. Just having a solo movie is pretty cool, and it'll be interesting to see.
Have you seen? I'm so sorry. Have you seen the Harley Quinn show?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Okay, yeah. So a movie like this does not exist without that
That's true.
Harley Quinn humor.
'Cause
Harley
this
Quinn
has that kind of
basically,
humor to it.
definitely. I would give the fact that like to agree with what you're saying that all the Catwoman stuff, like the way the animation, everything is just
Yeah.
like that is going to catch a lot of people's attention. That is like a wider net of just
for
fans
sure.
in general.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So and that was Catwoman Hunted, which
Yeah,
will be coming
Hunted.
out February 8th. And I see Batwoman is getting a lot of like DC is consciously putting her in a lot.
she's
Not only her
kind of
own
the sidekick
show
on that show.
Yeah,
the
not
Catwoman
only
movie.
it's Batwoman got her own, live action show, but she's also going to be showing up in this Catwoman Hunted animated movie too. Drew, what about some other items for you, man? What were some other announcements or projects that got you hyped?
So the one thing that got me hyped is the announcement that Batwing in season 2 of Batwoman, they introduced Batwing. Or not, they didn't introduce Batwing. They introduced Luke Fox, Lucius Fox's son, and established him, and then they gave him the Batwing costume at the end of season 2. So season 3, they did a interview with him, or not interview, when they did the DC fandom, he shows up, and I was like, I thought I was familiar with all the actors in the DC, so when he shows up, I'm like, who's this guy? Like, is he a voice actor? And he says, I'm Luke Fox, and I'm like, I play Batwing. And I said, holy shit. No way, because Batwing's like actually one of my favorite characters that shows up when they did the New 52. It was one of the ones.
Yeah.
It was one of the one projects I was like, all right, I'm down for this because, like I said, it's a precursor to Batwing, and the way that they talk about Luke Fox totally makes sense of like why he would be an archetype for a Batman character.
Sure.
And Batwing character as me is just very amazing. He's one of the one characters that when they introduced him that I just immediately fell in love with him, and I'm like, yo, who's that? I need to figure out more about him. But they announced that they're getting a season 3 of Batwoman, and if I can be honest with both of you guys, it's not looking good. Like,
Wait, how so?
Here's the thing. I'm telling you right now, I have been watching a lot of these DC animated shows, and Batwoman just feels very, very different, and it's just like,
How so? What is different?
you have to watch a show just so you can understand like how the acting and scenes are played out. Like, I get like you establish like a whole world of just like goofiness and stuff like that. It's just theirs is just a little bit too far out removed.
Is it like too? Is it too campy?
I don't think there's enough money put behind the show to make a Batman show.
Mm.
It's very much like reminiscent of a 1960s Adam West. And I'm not trying to be funny. It's just the fact that like when you look at the set designs and how the acting is and just like how they're trying to portray things,
Not a priority.
Yeah, you're like, okay, like stuff like Arrow and Flash, even though it has camping, there's money behind it. And I'm not saying that they're not putting money behind that. It's just different.
But they look good. There's a slickness to it.
Yeah, it's definitely. So this one definitely is just like, okay, I understand what they're trying to do. They recast it, and I haven't watched all of the seasons, so I can't say for instance that it's not a good show. But I've tried a couple episodes, and they've put me to sleep.
So wait, why are you spotlighting Batwoman then?
Did I say Batwoman or did I say Batwing? Because I was highlighting Batwing.
He just wanted to complain about
wait.
Yo, I'm wanted Batwing.
He wanted to spotlight.
You asked me what did I like.
You
asked me what I like.
Fair. He wanted to spotlight one piece of this,
One piece.
And that's for the record.
He just had to get that off his chest.
For the record, it's Cameron Johnson who is playing Batwing, which I do think is pretty interesting that they're introducing Batwing.
And his popularity is proving really good. The suit looks good. It looks amazing. I watched a couple scenes with him, and I'm like, yo, I like everything that they're doing with it. I would put this in the Gotham series. I have to sit down and like watch Gotham.
Honestly, Drew, out of people I know, you probably watch the most of like the DC TV show stuff, the CW.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
okay.
Well, I wanted your opinion on the news that DC's Legends of Tomorrow is going to be reaching its 100th episode.
Wow. I'm going to throw it
Which
out. Did you watch that video where they did 100 episodes in
like 100 seconds?
seconds?
I did not yet, but I think that's a cool
Watch
concept.
that thing. Come talk to me.
That's fair. Only because I remember when Legends of Tomorrow was announced, and I watched like that first season. I was like, this probably won't last that long.
I'm surprised it's still on.
But you have at some point. You had a Legends of Tomorrow binge / fandom that was so strong, and you talked about it so highly.
I love it so much. It is so good.
So it's no surprise to you that it's hitting 100 episodes.
Yeah, here's the thing. This show, I think the execs love it because there's some times where like they wanted to cancel it, and that's what sucks. Like when they're like, all right, this might be the last show. Let's just write our ass off. and they do it. And it's like, I'm just telling you, yo,
It's like a terrible cycle where it's like, I think we're gonna get canceled. Give it all we got, boys.
Yeah.
And then they get renewed, and they're like, all right, chill.
You're like, what did we do? We killed so many people.
So you think they threaten to cancel the show before every season?
Oh, 100%.
And they just like,
it's gonna
fucking
come out.
deliver their best material.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Pressure creates diamonds, and the later seasons are really, really good. They get kind of campy, but if you love Doctor Who,
that show can be campy though. Just the premise of it,
it's CW. There is a level of campy and kind of cheese.
That's what the C stands.
Yo, my boy,
cheesy Warner.
Yeah, cheesy Warner. Quesadilla, come get your nachos, bro. But my favorite, what's his name? Dominic Toretto. Yo, no, Dominic. He's the guy that plays Heatwave. He's basically stirring some feathers because he's like, yo, I want to get paid. He's like, yo, we're coming at 100 episodes.
Oh, Dominic Purcell.
Yeah. He's doing really, really good. His characterizations are really good. I'm telling you right now, DC Legends Tomorrow is that secret pocket of just amazingness, and the show that is just as good, Black Lightning. Both of those shows do not get enough hype and love.
Is Black Lightning permanently canceled? Because I don't see any news about that.
I don't know if it's perfect. It had it last season, but I hope that they're holding out to like pepper him in like any of the DC shows, because I've been watching that Superman Lois show, and I'm here to tell you that is
wow, without
Arrow, Flash, and all this stuff, Superman Lois has basically just done the impossible. Like, they made such a really great show.
Interesting.
And it's basically the Fantastic Four on a farm.
That's cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and switch it up from the live action and movie talk, and I want to highlight the Gotham Knights Court of Owls video game trailer, or it was a story trailer that showed up. But that is going to be awesome. Just speaking bluntly, that is going to be awesome. It piqued my interest big time. I felt like this trailer that we got made me more confident in the sense of a video game without Batman as the lead character. But it makes sense. It's like, you're getting... If you're not going to get Batman, you might as well give me the second best option.
Ninja Turtles. Give me the red one, the purple one, the blue one, and then the green one.
Well said. It's like, you're not going to give me Batman, which I mean, granted, to their credit, they've given us how many Batman Arkham Knights is there? Like 3-4 of them by now?
50, at least 60.
50 of them, right? But to get a game where you could play as either Nightwing, Red Hood, Tim Drake as
Leonardo, Michelangelo,
Raphael, Batgirl,
DLC.
This trailer got me more confident. And once again, Penguin being the standout star as kind of like that announcer, kind of or voice narrator.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Awesome. I'm not a big gamer, but that's some good voice acting
for sure. And they're doing Court of Owls, which I feel for me is a modern day Batman classic. I'll go ahead and go on the ledge and say that. In the sense of that, things like The Dark Knight Returns, Nightfall, and not season one, but year one. Yeah. Those are classic Batman stories in the Batman mythos that we all kind of I think the comic zeitgeist has agreed, hey, these are Batman classics.
Yeah.
And I agree to that extent as well, but I wasn't around when those came out. So I've always been interested in like being conscious of like new classics. And I feel like Court of Owls fits that mold. When it came out, it was like, holy shit, everyone is reading Batman. Court of Owls is awesome. Like, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo brought in, Batman New 52 in such a big way.
And they they expanded the mythology of Batman.
Exactly.
And Gotham, not only Batman, but
said.
Gotham City.
Knight, yes.
So to see them do a video game on it, that is a series that is worthy of a video game.
Oh, sure.
And I feel like the fact that they're doing it on the story and the trailer looks good, and they're going about it with,
and they're taking it.
Yeah, and they're taking a risk by like not having Batman as a playable character.
It'll be DLC.
Yeah, for sure, probably.
Take all four.
Easy enough.
They combine together.
My only thing is, I'm curious to see what the gameplay is like, because I do get a little suspicious when you only see like cutscenes and story trailer and no gameplay, because then it's like, damn, they shit the bed on the gameplay, but not the.
Who's
cutscenes.
doing it? Is it
Oh, it is Warner Brothers Games Montreal is doing it.
Oh, Montreal, okay.
But it sounds like Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Jim Lee, all kind of had a hand.
I would hope
on
so.
this as well. Yeah, for sure. Imagine not talking to Scott Snyder or Greg Capullo.
He's like, yo, what?
I'm not talking to Jim Lee. He's not drawing nothing now.
Speaking about Jim Lee,
smoozing it. You see him smoozing it, DC?
Dude,
like with
man.
Linda Carter and just drinking. And
but Jim Lee did all of the. Once again, I think they used Jim Lee to do all the artwork for Fandome. Yeah. So, which I thought was, at this point, DC. Jim Lee is DC house style, or
he's the face of the company.
Thank you so much. Not only is he the face of the company, but his art, I think they're trying to make the face of the company too. Because I noticed that they only use Jim Lee artwork for things like DC Fandome, which I think is saying something that your big virtual event, the artist that you primarily use is Jim Lee. It's like, I mean, granted, it makes sense because he's so high up, but Jim Lee is sitting comfy. In addition to that, Gotham, the Court of Owls game. There's a Sandman TV series coming out as well. And it's like, damn, that's coming out. And that'll be starring Gwendoline Christie as Lucifer Morningstar.
Yeah, they just released that poster, that character image.
Yeah.
We don't have enough for a trailer, but here you
go. Yeah. There's also another, we're also getting another animated Batman animated series, Batman Caped Crusader, which I'm really hyped for.
That is a, like...
Talk about a lineup.
Talk about the lineup that you want. And I watched that interview where they were talking to Bruce Timm. And
no handcuffs.
Yo, straight up. I'm like, oh my God. This is going to generate a whole thing of fandom because now it's premiering on Cartoon Network, which I'm just excited.
Yeah.
And the HBO Max app.
That's going to be tight. And you got Matt Reeves attached to it, J.J. Abrams, Bruce Timm, James Tucker.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's going to be great. And the fact is they're like, hey, Bruce, it's going to look like Bruce Timm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we already know he's a brilliant storyteller.
Yep.
And they're like, he's like, well, what can I get away with? And they're like, whatever you want.
What can't you get away with?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's and the best part is that they're going like that noir sensibility route. But the interesting thing is that they're setting it in 1940. So I think we're going to get like more of that, the OG original Batman appearance, the type vibe to
a lot
it.
of punching in the face.
Drew, I had a question for you because you're also up on all the animated shows and movies, and you are a vocal Young Justice fan at that. What do you think about the news of or the trailer they showed for Young Justice Phantoms and the fact that the first 2 episodes premiered immediately on HBO Max right after the Phantom?
I didn't get a chance to watch them because I was like, man, I messed up. As far as excitement, I'm all for it. I'm ready for it. I'm really, really excited about what they're doing with the characters. And there's a lot of unanswered questions. I don't want to get into. I'm kind of hoping that Potter just finally watches it.
One day when I've got time.
Because I'll tell you right now, it is very, very well done. And if you're a big fan of Justice League Unlimited and Justice League, for the way that storytelling is, Young Justice is definitely a grind and worth your time if you just sit there and watch everything because every character shows up and it still makes sense.
Even though I haven't watched Young Justice, anytime I see any news or updates about it or new stuff, I always get hyped or happy for the fan base because I know that like the Young Justice fan base, exactly, like they have been supporting that show through thick and thin. So
I would tweet. I think it's Greg Weisman. The guy that's because he wrote the Young Justice comic book like that. When Young Justice got canceled, I reached out to him because I think he did also the Kanan comic book for Star Wars, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I remember tweeting to him just like, yo, I was like, are we gonna ever get more Young Justice? Yeah, Greg Weisman. Did he write the Kanan story? Can you see if you're Kanan?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
It's the Kanan, the last panel on, and I think he did a lot of Young Justice. So I tweeted him. And then he tweeted back, and I was just like, "Oh shit!"
He was like, "Leave me the fuck alone."
He's like, "Thank you for your hype," and he's just like, "We are always hoping that we're gonna get a third season." And then a couple like months later, they announced that they were getting a third season. So I was like, "Oh, okay." Like,
and now this is the 4th season, right?
Yes, they're on the 4th season.
Oh, and yes, to confirm, Greg Weisman did write
that guy.
Kanan.
Can I just put some comic book knowledge in there? He is credited for the first appearance of a lot of the Star Wars characters in the comic book universe. Even though these characters showed up in movies and books and TV shows, the fact that he wrote it in Marvel comic books, he's credited for the first appearances of a lot of the Marvel characters from Star Wars characters from Rebels, and all of his books have shot up.
Damn.
Like all of his books are worth like over 300.
Damn.
Because of like all the characters from. So that's just a little bit of comic.
Thank you for that tidbit.
Yeah.
And speaking about comic books, I want to wrap up this episode by talking about some of the updates or news shared at DC Fandom in regards to DC Comics. As we kind of joked in the intro, I personally didn't see too much focus or news from on the DC Comics front. I think for the most part, because we had San Diego Comic-Con at home earlier this year, New York Comic-Con was just last weekend. I wasn't, it makes sense that they wouldn't get a bunch of comic book news because I think they use DC Fandom to really, pay attention, to spotlight the movies, the live action stuff, the animated
money.
shows.
They're like, this is
like the Warner Brothers media side of things, right? Mm-hmm. But was there anything comic book wise that got your attention that you wanted to spotlight?
The only thing, and I guess it's one of those things that, like we said earlier, that kind of started as comics, but hey, look at this other thing we're doing. Like the Milestone, the new Milestone projects coming out.
Yeah.
Those have been pretty cool. I know Hardware's, I think a couple issues in right now. And
like I said, my hands on those. I'm trying to I should have put it on my pull list because I wanted to get them as they were coming out because I had this whole notion of I'll get it when it comes out, and I missed it. It's already on, like you said, it's already issue 5, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, and like I said, it seems like I think Dennis Cohen was one of the people involved in the fandom, and like you said, they said there's a bunch of stuff coming in besides from more comic stuff. They're going to actually do some Milestone animated features, which is awesome.
I'm excited for that.
Which is cool because I don't recall them really being featured in anything except for maybe a guest appearance or something here and there.
Yeah,
but not as the focus.
And I think that's the boost that this universe needs too.
It does. It needs wider audience for sure.
Exactly. Because I don't think as good as the comics are or might be, I don't think enough eyeballs are on that yet. And DC is so good at using or leveraging their animated movies to springboard a lot of their comic book properties. I think it's time that Milestone got this treatment.
And I know that they're back together, like DC and Milestone, because there's been a disconnect forever. But now
that was in the last 2 years, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
That they got back together?
Now that they're working together and now they can actually push this the way they should have done it in the 90s, have more focus on it and then actually present these characters to a bigger audience. And then he said that there's a script being made for a live action Static Shock, which is probably the most visible character because he had his own series. And people have been wanting Static Shock for how long now?
For a long time. For a very long time. And it's funny to me that it's I see a lot of people starting to read Static Shock. And my favorite thing to see in comments is he kind of reminds me of Spider-Man. And I kind of I just kind of chuckle at that. I'm like, if only you read the original stuff, you would understand. He is his own. They borrowed a lot from him, like Miles Morales, and a lot of the Young Spider-Man definitely borrowed from him, and he borrowed too. There's very much different. It's a bridge, but it does a really, really good job of okay. So I got really excited when people were talking about Static Shock because that's a character that I definitely loved growing up. I watched that TV show
for sure.
The only action figure you could have got anywhere for Static Shock was a Happy Meal toy. That was the only. Here's the thing.
I'm sure that thing goes for a lot.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. It was the only time that you can get an action figure, but I love that show so much, and I think me and you have talked about it earlier. Just flying on that the sewer trash.
the trash can cover.
Yeah, the trash can. I'm just like, that's dope to me. So the fact that we're getting it, do you think they're going to go super young? They would have to go super young, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think at least someone in that. Well, they haven't had a live action, but someone Miles Morales age, young teenager,
and
high school.
Can you do it like his origin?
Oh no, they got to for sure. They got to.
They have to.
And I mean, it's
not
just,
like Batman.
Yeah,
you all know what happens.
No.
We need a refresh,
and it's not super. It's not overly violent. It's just all right, cool. It's not too bad.
And it sounds like that animated feature is going to be a Milestone universe animated feature. So not only I think they'll probably touch on Static or introduce Static, but also other prominent characters in the Milestone.
Milestone characters
universe.
make appearances in Young Justice. You see them a lot.
That's cool.
In Young Justice, you see them all the time where they're basically trying to get the teams together, you'll see Icon, you'll see
Hardware,
everyone.
Rocket,
yeah, and you're like, hell yeah, this is sick.
The other thing that's got me hyped from that milestone, because to Ed's point, I think the milestone announcement was the bigger comic book news that maybe was like worth a spotlight.
They also did a John Ridley feature as well.
Oh, that's cool. I got to check that out. But they're coming out with a 1,300-page softcover compendium collecting all the classic milestone runs.
Are you getting that?
I think I will, just off the strength that the fact that it's taken us this long to get any of that milestone stuff in print.
Yeah, and you see it everywhere, and it's always like not completed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, you're going a back issue bin, and it's like you might find static
27.
Exactly. You'll never find any of the early issues because they go for so much.
Like you'll find a 13 or a 14 just by itself, no board, just a bag.
Ripped cover.
Yeah, exactly.
How much is this, sir? $3. You don't fucking know what you have.
But the other thing I want to mention about Milestone that I thought was interesting isn't related to the comic books or any animated shows or announcements, but it's more so an initiative they got going on. And I want to mention this because I know we have a lot of aspiring comic book creators that tune in on this show, but they announced something called the Milestone Initiative, which gives fans in the U.S. the opportunity to apply for a development program that they're running called, of course, the Milestone Initiative Development Program. But it includes like a 1-week in-person training seminar in DC's like California offices. Then you get like an 8-week virtual technical training course through the Kubert School, which I think we all have wanted to go there at one point in our lives.
I got the brochure.
Yeah.
I got that.
But I mean, all the participants can like learn how to hone their storytelling skills and really kind of become a part of like this next wave of comic book writers and artists that DC is trying to not only recruit, but mentor and develop. So, and that's all part of like DC's next generation arm of things. So this Milestone Initiative sounds like a great opportunity if you are an aspiring comic book creator that wants to learn how to, how to make comic books for the big two. It sounds like if you can get into this program, it's well worth
range?
it.
I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna try to like do this competition, but then I'm gonna try to pull a Cebulski and just try to come at it like I'm a young, inspiring
Japanese woman.
It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. So, but no, I thought that was pretty cool that they announced. So I wanted to share that. And in closing, granted, I know that we didn't cover everything that came out of DC Fandome. I think that would, be its own 3-hour show itself. But in closing, I wanted to ask both of you gentlemen, how do you feel about DC and the future of DC based on what they announced will be coming to us in the next 2 years? Are you more hype or are you skeptical in any regards? Drew, how about you take it?
Can it be real?
Uh-oh.
No, be fake.
They are gambling a lot right now, and anything's possible. The Jaguars won today, so if we're gonna go off the strength alone, that you could be like, if you look at DC's record, like what would it be as movie record? Would it be like 0-34? Like would it be?
I got
like
a couple
10
wins.
And 12?
I got a couple wins.
So, am I hopeful?
They're not making the playoffs, but they got a couple wins.
They're respectable.
In terms of the comic book house, I do have concerns because of that mass exodus of all these talented writers. But also, I'm really excited about a lot of these writers, they hang on to characters too long, and it's just like, I kind of want new voices, I want new stories, I want new characters.
And I think that's where DC's new generation program that they got going on, I think that's to answer.
That's a good sign.
No, and it's smart, too. It's like, we're noticing all of our big-name writers, artists, once they get a certain level of fame, they go on to do their own thing. Well, let's set up our own program to essentially recruit, young talent and get them, built in-house.
They're doing what kind of Mark Millar kind of figured out a while back. It's like, this can be a franchise that we can make into TV and movies, and, it could be like a factory.
Ed, what about you? Are you more hype or are you skeptical about DC's future plans in the next 2 years?
I'm a little more optimistic just because of the projects that they're doing and the initial impression of the quality of them. And like I said, as far as the comic side, just seeing more titles come out, because there was a while at the shop that I go to, the DC shelf was looking kind of weak. There was nothing coming out. There's
here's the thing: it looks weak, and there's 100 titles, and you're like, "What is going on?"
But they've been coming, and a lot of the stuff I've been picking up more DC recently than I have in a while.
Are you picking up characters, writers, artists? What are you picking up?
Mostly surprisingly for DC characters. Like I said, I'm just trying more stuff out than, like I said, Marvel. I hardly get anything from Marvel, but or anything from the big two. But it seems like the quality of the titles DC is putting out has been very consistent this last year, and seeing them put out more stuff. And like I said, this Fandome, they put a lot of work into this.
Yeah.
Just a lot of production value. Because I remember last year we were kind of making fun of it because the website was like whacked and broken.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was,
Oh, you guys want to talk shit? You guys want to talk shit?
but this year it's like, man, they really
Look, we clowned, we joked about the possibility of a DC land.
Yeah.
But if a DC theme park was just the different
Yeah.
domes,
Oh,
I'd be
I'm
happy
aboard.
with that.
season pass. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. I like the tonal shift that they're going with the upcoming movies, the upcoming films.
Yep.
The fact that they're renewing like a series like Doom Patrol. It's so bizarre, and
Wacky, and
very
great.
very awesome, but very niche. You know, the fact that they're getting 4 seasons of that's crazy.
Yes.
And
The season 1's really great.
yeah, and
It's really, really good. I just never followed it because
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, this is so much like Umbrella Academy.
it's a bizarre, it's a acquired taste
Yes.
to say the least.
I
But
think,
yeah,
I think, Adam, I'm right there with you. It looks like they're leaning more into the rest of their properties. Like,
Yeah.
outside of the Batman movie that's coming out, it's Black Adam, it's Flash, it's a movie about, it's a series about Peacemaker. It's
the Zatanna movie we didn't know anything about.
Exactly. It's like I think this is a good look as far as tapping into their other characters and properties, and building out those universes. And then if they bring them all together for a big shared universe, great. But I'd honestly be kind of like excited if DC took a different approach and was like, hey, we're just going to focus on multiple universes that don't happen to that aren't shared per se.
Yeah.
But we can do so much more if, like, this Black Adam that we're like Black Adam, if we're able to introduce JSA and do this within just the confines of the Black Adam universe, and then we'll do something different
and I think
for this.
now, like, especially at least for me, it's like we've seen this 10-year experiment succeed with Marvel. I don't need to see that again.
Agreed.
I think we need to evolve and move on. And it's like, hey, that worked for them at this period of time. It worked, but now let's just do fun movies, individual movies.
Plagiarism, sir.
Yeah.
Plagiarism.
I mean, they tried, but they tried to
Please,
do.
Yeah.
It was so obvious and bad.
Agreed.
And I was going to say, like, yo, kudos to DC getting over their bipolar syndrome of going from a dark place to a happy place.
Yeah.
Like, good for them. You're like,
Yeah.
does it work? Not really.
Yeah.
But and the other thing too is that it looks like they're leaning well into their animated offerings too, which, I mean, we've always said on this
they're
show
the
that
OG of animation.
when it comes to their animated, especially their animated movies,
Yeah.
they produce good stuff. It's not like, I don't think that all of them are groundbreaking, but they are all decent and strong and get people talking. So I'm excited to see that they're leaning in on not only their vast of a wider character properties, but also like leaning into what they do best with like the animated shows and the live action stuff too.
And they're doing like cool stuff, like, and I love the multiverse stuff and Elseworld stuff, but they're doing like, the Red Son of Krypton. They're doing Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
They're revisiting these
The
properties
classics,
and giving
man.
them like a nice modern, update to them.
Well said. All right. Well, gents, I think we've spoken
Beat the
everything.
shit out of this dead horse. Like, eh.
I think we have spoken and shared all of our thoughts and opinions on DC Fandome. So I think it's a good time to bring this show to a wrap. I want to go and address the listeners and thank them for hanging out with us this week. Like I said, there's no way that we could cover everything that came out of DC Fandome. So if we missed anything, feel free to reach out and tell us what your favorite announcement was. You can creep into our DMs on social media, or you can send us a short email to read on our next episode by writing us at theshortboxjack@gmail.com. The next time that you hear from us, we'll be talking about the Eternals, Marvel's team of demigod defenders of Earth, created by Jack Kirby in the mid-'70s.
Ooh, the king himself.
Yes, sir. But if you're a Patreon subscriber, you'll be hearing from us a lot sooner. You'll be treated to another episode of our spin-off podcast series, Pilot's License. And this month's episode is about Batman Beyond. So if you're a fan of Terry McGinnis and more Shortbox content piques your interest, consider becoming an official patron of the show and join us on patreon.com/shortbox or hit the link in our show notes for more information. In the meantime, connect with us on Instagram and Twitter, and most importantly, take care of yourselves. Have a great day, and please continue to make mine and yours Shortbox. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.